what's going on? Are you ready for something crazy? Because today I'm going to be doing a what I would do. I always like to do one of these at the end of the draft, and today is the day. I got a 7 rounder coming here. Hopefully next week. I'm still working on that one, trying to fine tune some things. But we got a 2 round what I would do. So this is where I'm gonna be getting the looking like a fool after the draft, and people are like, "What are you doing?" Or later down the line, "Why'd you put this player this high?" It is what it is. I'm gonna showcase how crazy and how strong I feel about these players. It's almost as good as my juggling skills.
Prepare to go into the danger zone.
Woo! See that? Oh,
Can someone please throw me a 5th ball? Incoming! And rock.
I'm juggling on my head now. See? No, now I know what D'Angelo Vickers felt like out there. But with this, let's go ahead and get into this mock draft. What's cooling? What's going on? If you having a good day, let's let the games begin here. We're not talking Hunger Games, even though food sounds a little good right now. But the Tennessee Titans, they aren't hungry for that. They're hungry for a franchise quarterback, but not so fast. I'm not going quarterback because that's not what I would do. This is me, and I say Will Levis is still a guy that I believe in. Everybody gives up on quarterbacks so dang quick nowadays, and I see it over and over again. As a Jets fan, we give up on quarterbacks all the time. And when you talk about Will Levis, he's got the talent. It just seems like him and Brian Callahan don't mix well. So I understand that argument for it. But I would rather just bring in a veteran. Go trade for Jameson Winston out there, especially if the Giants go draft another quarterback. Then Winston's more than likely going to be on the move. He might even be on the move, especially with Russell Wilson coming over. He may want to say, I want to go an opportunity to go start somewhere else. Go trade for somebody on the cheap or go get a veteran out there. Whatever you have to do. Joe Flacco's still available. Will Levis, though, I don't want to give up on the guy. He's super young. He's not even played a full season as a starter. It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, I still think they need to add to the quarterback room. Don't get me wrong. I still draft somebody like day 2 or at minimum early day 3 to give you more competition in conjunction with a veteran. I'm taking Travis Hunter here. He's the best player in the draft. I'm cool with Abdul Carter, and I could go back and forth because I think they need an edge rusher probably more than they need a cornerback. But I also think they need a wide receiver as well to go along with Calvin Ridley and Van Jefferson. Hunter's the pick. It's an easy pick on what I would do, actually. It really is. Now, this one, I am okay with the Cleveland Browns taking a quarterback. And that's the way that I'm going to go. I'm going to go Cam Ward. And you say to yourself, why do you take a quarterback for the Browns, but you don't want to take one for the Titans? But once again, this is a situation where I think Will Levis has a lot of talent. He has the tools. I know he can be an NFL quarterback. There's just some things up here. There's the decision making, him reading the field. You may not ever get to that level, but I do think that a good coach can get some of those weaknesses out of his game and at least be a good football player. Whereas the Browns, you got Kenny Pickett, you got Deshaun Watson, who's probably not going to be playing for the Browns ever again. So this is a scenario where their cap situation is super tricky. They need a quarterback on a rookie contract. I just don't love the idea of trading for Kirk Cousins either. Does that excite me? No. And I like Kirk Cousins. I'm a huge Kirk Cousins. I'm a Michigan State fan. It's just then you have to take on his cap hit, and you're dealing with all this sort of stuff, and they're already in that cap situation where it's tough. This is where I feel comfortable taking a shot on a quarterback for a team that is in a mode where Myles Garrett wants to win right now. This football team, they want to win right now. The fans want to win right now. I'm not saying Tennessee don't, but I think they're a little more patient with where they're at right now and approach-wise. Giants at number 3, I'm not taking Shedeur here, even though I do like Shedeur quite a bit. It's just, I'm not taking the quarterback here. I'm going to either take Abdul Carter or I'm going to really hit the phones and see, hey, anybody interested? Who wants to come up? And that's what I'm actually going to do here. I'm going to trade with a team that I've not actually traded up for before in a mock draft, and it's going to be the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, get ready, 49ers fans. You didn't expect to see your names called this early in the mock draft, but it's happening. I'm giving up let's go with pick 100 here and also a first rounder next year. Actually, third rounder. Actually, let's give up the third rounder instead. Probably that's what it would cost to move up 8 spots from number 3 or number 11 to number 3. So I'm going to do ahead and do that. I feel comfortable with this for the 49ers, who seem to get comp picks every single year, and I'm sure they've already got a cluster for next year as well. And this is sort of like a Will Anderson type of move for the 49ers. And it's just adding those star players onto this football team and on a cheap contract as well. It just makes sense to me in that regard, and go getting a star player like Abdul Carter in a draft where I view there is like 2 or 3 blue chip, I'd say 4. Okay, I'd say Graham, Carter, Hunter, and Jeanty. Those are your blue chip players in this draft class. I'm going to go get one of those. And even though you have to give up 2 picks and 1 first rounder next year, so it sucks on that regard. But at the same time, this is a winning football team. I think it's going to be picking towards the end of the first round, especially get Abdul Carter, Nick Bosa. That's an insane edge rushing duo. I'm all game for it. And then on to New England here at number 4, where clearly offensive line is the top priority for this team. And I just think you cannot go out of this draft and not get an offensive lineman. And at the same time, I think the sweet spot for offensive line in this draft is like somewhere between, I would say 17 to 21, maybe. So anywhere in that range, or 10 to 21, you could find a really good offensive lineman. For the New England Patriots, if you can, you don't have to trade back. It's not like they need a whole ton of draft capital, but I'm really trying to hit the phones here, especially with the way the board has fallen for them. I am going to try to call up. I think for me, I would move up with the New Orleans Saints here. I feel comfortable with that because they have an extra third rounder. So I'm going to give up pick 71. And that will be, I know you may say, oh, this is not fair. This is what I would do. So I think that for me, that's totally fine. I'm cool giving up a third rounder to be able to move up for a player like Mason Graham. And Mason Graham, especially with Brandon Staley and that new defense, I want to fortify that defensive line in those trenches because now if you get Mason Graham, you're basically getting Graham, you're going to have Brazee, you're going to have Gotchow. That will be your starting line. Obviously, Graham, Brazee will be more your rushers. Gotchow would be your nose. And then you have a rotation between Saunders and also like Boyd, Shepard, like that would be your rotation. That'd be your depth on your defensive interior. That's a good defensive line and something, a building block for this football team. And yeah, you got to have a third round pick, but one of those was a trade. So you still have one third rounder. They can still address some of the other needs on their roster. So I feel comfortable. While at the same time, for New England, I also feel like we can get a good offensive lineman, a left tackle for them at number 9, where there's a lot of players at that point. Jaguars at number 5. Now, this is where it does get a little challenging because Jacksonville, where would I want to go? I mean, obviously Mason Graham, if he was available, that's the way I would go. Or if one of those top players is on the board, still easy. There's nobody that I'm like overly like wanting to take who really is BPA at this point. So I'm gonna try to trade back for the Jaguars too. This will be 3 straight trades. I know it's getting wild already. And here we go. Here's the team that I'm looking to trade it for. It's the Bears. I think Jeanty with Ben Johnson. I just love that, man. I think that is the perfect fit. So I'm going to jump in front of the Raiders here to go and get Jeanty. You can make the argument, oh, is it worth trading up? Whatever, whatever. We're going to pick 72. We're going to move back to 126. So it'll be a pick swap in this case scenario. The Bears have to move back a little bit in the 3rd round to the 4th round with this Minnesota Vikings end of that pick. But let's do it. Let's force that trade through. I feel good about it. And for the Bears, now you go select Ashton Jeanty as your running back, your workhorse, your beast in that role that he can do a little bit of Montgomery and Gibbs for Ben Johnson in that offense. Raiders at number 6. Another area where I wouldn't mind trading back, especially since I think corner is their, that's kind of where I'm leaning is their top need on the roster. They need more secondary up, and especially with what Pete Carroll's done every single time he's come in as a head coach, he's selected a DB, I believe, in the 1st round all 3 times in the NFL. So I'd have to take a look at the stats on that, but I'm pretty sure he's done that. Earl Thomas and then Aaron Glenn, I know those 2. I think it was also Canty. I'd have to take a look at that, but I'm pretty sure he's done that. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go select the corner. Options to trade. There are some potential options, some teams that might be willing to come up here. I could definitely see it. I'm just going to go and stick and pick, mainly because I don't know if I feel comfortable with any of these guys at the moment trading up. And we did just make 3 trades, quite a few trades. Let's go ahead and stick and pick. Let's cool it down a little bit here. I'm very comfortable selecting Will Johnson. I know Johnson in the pre-draft combine, all those sort of things process really has dropped him a little bit, but he is still a very good cover corner. He's got the prototypical size, just feels like a Pete Carroll and somebody just type of the corner that he loves. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm going. Jets here at number 7, offensive line. That's what I'm doing here. I'm going to go select an offensive lineman. Now, it is a little tricky. Will Campbell, he does have right tackle experience going back to the high school days, I believe. So I like that. Armin Embu, a lot of upside. I'm a huge Josh Connolly fan. I really am. And if he was right tackle, I would actually take Connolly here because he's my number 1 tackle. So I want to be straight with you. He is my number 1 tackle, but I'm going to stick with a guy that I know can play right tackle. I'm going to go Armin Embu as much as I really want to go Josh Connolly here. I'm not going to lie, but I want to make sure I don't want to, do anything stupid because Olaf Vachano looked way better at left tackle. So I don't want to draft Josh Connolly with the hope that he can be the right tackle and go from there. So I'm going to select the guy that I know can play right tackle and do it at a high level for us, Armin Embu. Be that right tackle of the future. I feel really good about that. And then on to the number 8 pick for the Carolina Panthers. And they need an edge rusher. That's where we're going. There's no other way to look here, in my opinion. Let's go snag Mike Green, the machine from Mashal to be the nice edge rushing talent that they need on the defensive line. Please give me edge rusher, I say. We do say onto the New England Patriots, where I'm also going to go get offensive line. And this is where I'm going off the cuffs. The cuffs are off, man. The clinks, they're blinks, they're all over the place. And I'm going Josh Connolly Jr., my number one tackle in the draft. Huge fan. That's all I can say. I mean, the dude's movement skills are excellent. I think his hand placement is fantastic, and he just needs to continue to work on getting stronger. And those are things at the next level. You're gonna get stronger. He is just a phenomenal athlete that is coordinated, balanced, great posture. Love the way he plays, and as a run blocker, he's super underrated. I think he's one of the better run blockers on the move in this entire draft class. Number 10, Jaguars after trading back. Get ready. We're gonna go after a safety here. I'm going with Malachi Starks. Go improve the secondary. Darnell Savage, at this point, I would love to upgrade. I would love to add more pieces in their secondary. Plus Starks. I would also mind Nicky Manwara, but I'm just higher on Starks, so that's where I'm going. Malachi Starks, solidify the secondary for them, which needs to be improved. And then on to number 11, the G-Men. I am going to, this is actually an easy pick for me, even though Shedeur Sanders is tempting. No, I'm not doing it. Nah, I'm going Will Campbell. I got to go Will Campbell here. Solidify that offensive line. I like him inside at guard. Could play tackle for them. He could play their right tackle position, right? I have no problem with that either. Like, he could be the long-term right tackle. You have competition. Jermaine Illuminor could be right guard. Yeah, I could have Will Campbell play right guard. Just figure it out. You know what I mean? Figure who's your best offensive lineman to play those spots. It's just a clear upgrade on that right side. Yes, Greg Van Roten's back. I love to have GVR there to go for another season, and he had a nice year last year, but I do think that they still need to look at that long-term solution, and I think he would do a nice wonders for them. On to number 12, Dallas. Well, I'm going ahead. Tetairoa McMillan. I'm going with Emeka Ibuka, the wide receiver from the Ohio State University. I'm a huge Emeka Ibuka fan. Hey, I mean, he's just a guy that I feel 100% confident that he's going to be a very good receiver. Not to say Ted's going to look, Ted and Ibuka, both very, very good football players. I just think Ibuka in that offense makes a lot more sense. He's a tough-nosed blocker. McMillan's not like he's not an unwilling blocker. I just feel like that's going to be something Schottenheimer values a little bit more too with his run game. Having somebody that can be a very, very good run blocker. Ibuka not only is a good receiver, and he's been tried and true, tested in the big moments. He's made plays. Ibuka's been a beast as a run blocker as well. Number 13, Miami Dolphins here. I am who? This is, cornerback, safety, both big areas that need to be improved. I'm going to go ahead and add to the secondary room. I'm going to go Benjamin Morrison, cornerback, Notre Dame. Yes, you're saying, what are you doing? But Benjamin Morrison, you got the hip injury, going to be a question mark. He's been doing some workouts and stuff like that, so keep an eye on those things. The team's got to have the medicals, but for me personally, just watching the film, he's my number one corner in the draft. I did take into the account of that injury, and that's why he didn't go inside the top 10. Strictly on film, though, huge fan. They need some secondary help. Maybe Cam Smith can take that next step, but with Ramsey being on the trade block, likely out and out, you still need to improve that secondary. Ben Morrison's the guy. Number 14, Indianapolis Colts here at, this is easy. It's Tyler Warren. It's always been Tyler Warren. It is Tyler Warren. I'm done. Don't need to talk about it anymore, Colts fans. I'm sorry, but it's a short, sweet explanation. He's a beast. Number 5, he should actually go higher, but number 15, the Atlanta Falcons. It's edge rusher, right? It is absolutely edge rusher. I am going, you know what, actually, though? Since Tetairoa McMillan's on the board, somebody would come up here at this point, right? I mean, I figure somebody would come up, and that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and snag the Green Bay Packers here. I know they've not gone after a receiver in the first round, but this is what I would do. So screw it, Gutekunst. I'm coming up. If you won't, I am. I'm going to give up a third rounder with the Atlanta Falcons. That gives them a third rounder that they do not have and they desperately could use. The Packers, you know what? They got drafted. They always do a good job with drafting and developing stuff like that. I'm not super worried about giving up a little bit of draft capital for a guy of a talent like a Tetairoa McMillan. On to number 16 here, Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to go ahead. A lot of areas that they could go after. I mean, seriously, they've got so many different areas they could go after. But at the end of the day, I just think when you really think about it, they have to fortify the trenches for the future. They've added so many guys on that defense line. Obviously, Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson, and you get a ton of, guys like Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols. I don't know if those guys will be under this team going much further. I'm going to go select somebody on this defensive line for the long haul. Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon, Kenneth Grant, Tyleik Williams, all guys I really, really like. And what do I think that they need for this defensive line? I would love to add a big, bad monster on that front. I'm going to go get Kenneth Grant from Michigan, the Wolverine. a really loose athlete, somebody that's going to be a hybrid 1-3 tech that can play all over the defensive line because he's that athletic, freakish, and just bolster that unit. Give him a young stud on that interior. On to the Cincinnati Bengals here. Bengals, I toss up between secondary and then also like even corner, defensive line, edge rushing position. And that's the way I'm going to go with where the edge rushers are at right now. There's still a lot of very, very good edge rushers and talented ones that I'm going to take. And it comes down to me, like when I'm doing what guys that I'm high on here. Yes, you have to balance some of the talent with the overall production and things like that. Like those are always tricky scenarios to deal with. But I'm gonna go ahead and just solidify James Pierce Jr. I love the quote that Wasted put out with Broshmo. I don't need choir boys out here off the on the defensive line. I mean, I like choir. Nothing wrong with the choir. I was never good at that sort of thing. Trust me, I cannot sing. I mean, maybe do a little bit of oh can, but that's about it. But you're like, oh my gosh, James Pierce Jr. though. Let's fortify the edge. Let's get a home, man. I'm turning a little red over here. I need to calm down. On to the Seattle Seahawks. Number 18, it's offensive line, another easy position. I might have to do a little filter out here to cover up the blushing. But here, let's go ahead and selectify some offensive line. Now, I will think about coaches in mind because Clint Kubiak is going to be the offensive coordinator, and he's going to run a lot of wide zone. I would probably just solidify and go get Tyler Booker, but with that in mind, and I do want to play to the scheme a little bit. So that's why I'm going to go Gray Zabel. Very versatile, could play center, play guard for them, and just help improve that offensive line. I also like Josh Simmons. Could he play guard? Possibly. Gun Banks as well could play guard for them. Zabel, though, plug him into that interior. I feel like he's a plug-and-play starter. And moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 19 overall, where the guy that's sticking out to me, it's him. It's right here, Jihaad Campbell from Alabama. Yeah, you got the great Levante David still under contract for another year, which is going to be great. Hopefully they can just keep retaining him until he plays like for 50. That'd be great. But Jihaad Campbell would be a great learning corner piece behind Levante David. It allows him to get fully healthy. Savachier Dennis has been a little banged up through his career, but hopefully he can play next season. You bring in Anthony Walker, going to help with a veteran presence, but Campbell's going to really help them out. And then on to the Denver Broncos here at number 20. Running back is very much in the cards for me, but with the board, the way it's fallen, I'm actually just going to go get a defensive lineman here. There's a lot of really good ones available. I am going to go get Walter Nolan. His upside, he can develop for a season behind Zach Allen. Now, Zach Allen, you want to try to extend him and everything like that, make sure he's happy with his contract. But guys like John Franklin Myers, they may have to move on from him, and I expect them to have to get a little cheaper there on that interior defensive line. So let's go and get Walter Nolan to continue to bolster that defensive line. Sean Payton values a lot, especially on the interior. Everyone expects offense with that pick, right? They're like, oh, let's go offense. That's an easy pick, right? No, I'm going to shake it up. Let's go defense. Pittsburgh, though, I'm going quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, we're not holding hostage. You're not holding me hostage. I don't get the cufflinks out here. No, none of that. I'm going to Shedeur Sanders. It's over. I think he'd look great in the black and gold. He's already wearing the black out there. And on to the Chargers, the Bolts. And I even mentioned the shirt colors with them today. But with this pick here, 22, I think, I mean, there's some great football players the way the board's fall. I mean, Loveland is still there. I think that would be a fantastic pick for them. But I'm actually going to go to the defensive line. I just feel like you have to improve the trenches there for this team. They're getting a little bit older off the edge. On the interior, they need some more help there. Now, the value on both positions is really good, but I am actually going to go edge rusher just the way the board has fallen. I still think we can get a really good defensive tackle on day 2. So let's invest in the edge position right here. I'm going to go grab Shamar Stewart. I just think his upside is too good. And sometimes there's just like, there's a list out there of athletes that have the level of athleticism of Shamar Stewart, and the list is phenomenal. Like you only have like a couple of busts out there. It's incredible when you have that level of athleticism, and with a good coach like John Harbaugh and mentor, like I expect these two guys to get the best out of a guy like Shamar Stewart. Let's go on to the Falcons here, 23, and I'm also going edge here. This is another easy pick for me. I'm going to go grab one of these edge rushers. Now, I like Ezeraku a lot. I really do, and he's one of those guys. Mikael Williams, also a good football player. I think Mikael Williams is a little safer of a prospect, but I think Ezeraku's a better pass rusher, and that's the way that I'm going to go. Because they need more pass rush. They need day 1 pass rush, so that's why I'm going to go get Ezeraku here. I feel very, very good that he can bolster that defensive line for them. And then we go on to number 24, the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings, I would love to trade back if possible. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. And remember, you're in front of like the Rams right here. And the Rams, there's a possibility that they could select a quarterback. I'm not saying that's what I would do, but it is definitely a possibility. I would consider it. I really would. They do need to invest in the quarterback position in this draft, in my opinion. But I'm going to trade back with the Vikings. I'm going to come up with the Giants here. I still want to select a quarterback for the Giants. Okay. Like they need to invest in the quarterback position. Do they have to trade back going to the first round? No. But we acquired more draft capital. And they've got a really complete roster. So having a quarterback for this football team between Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and then a rookie quarterback, trying to make sure we are as comfortable as we possibly can be. So I'm going to trade 34, 75, and we'll go with a we'll go with like 154 here. Let's see, would that be enough draft capital? If no, let's go 105. Let's go 105 for 24. So you give up these two draft picks to move up back into the first round, get a quarterback here. I'm going with Milrow. I've done it. I think Milrow, super talented quarterback. Can he pass? Probably not. You know what I mean? You're probably saying, what are you doing with that? I mean, is he going to be a productive passer rusher, right? Quarterback right away? Probably not in the NFL. But at the same time, you got Russell Wilson. Let him be the starter right away. Jalen Milrow, you got to develop somebody, and he's got the tools. He's got the talent. You let him sit for a full season. It really makes sense to me to do something like that. It's the pick. It's going. Let's go, G-Man. I know. Like, what do you know? We really like what you did early on. You went down, trade back, got Will Campbell. And then why'd you waste that draft capital on Jalen Milrow? Well, you got to take a chance. Throw it out on the line. I think Milrow could fit really, really well with Dable and his skill set. Even it might be Dable could get fired after this next season. I do think, though, you got to give him a chance. Milrow makes a lot of sense with the personnel that they currently have on that roster. Hey, they still have a lot of draft picks to go after in this draft to be able to help them out. They got a first rounder next year from the 49ers as well. So they've got 2 first rounders next year. They've got plenty of draft capital. On to the Houston Texans. Yeah, you can't be greedy, man. We got to be share the love out here. Houston, number 25. I'm not trading here. I'm going to stick and pick. I'm going to go defensive interior. Tackle's very interesting to me as well. There's some good tackles on the board, but I'm going to go grab Derek Harmon. I think he's a great football player. I'm a Ducks fan. He was phenomenal this season, and he's going to be somebody on that defense line to add some youth and for future. There's other than Mario Edwards, nobody's under contract there for that Houston Texan team. Then we go on to the Rams at 26 overall. I'm going to go grab a corner. I'm going to go get Jahdae Barron here of Texas. Good, just too good not to take. He can be that long-term Dorius Williams replacement for that football team. Baltimore Ravens 27. I would look at either offensive line or defensive line. I think both of those areas are great. I think the offensive line right now, the position is a little bit better and who's available. So that's the way I'm going to go. I'm going to go select Tyler Booker, plug and play left guard. On to the Detroit Lions. Booker just went off the board, which I would have been in conversation, but I am going, even some good players are on the board right now. Ooh, I just clicked on Josh Simmons. Hey, he'd be a good option for them as well. But I'm going to go grab an edge rusher here. I'm going to go get Jalen Walker from Georgia. Give them some more pass rush opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. He get the Washington Commanders here. Also, need pass rush. Some of these picks are pretty self-explanatory, especially when you get to these winning football teams, I feel like. I'm going to go with Mikael Williams from Georgia. He's going to be a day one starter with his run defense and let him develop more as a pass rusher. I think he'll be a very, very nice, solid edge rushing duo with Doris Armstrong. And then we got the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to go grab some help in the secondary. I think cornerback. I think that safety, the 2 areas that I'm looking at here. I am going to solidify the secondary position by adding in Nick Manwari from South Carolina. One of the best athletes, obviously, in this draft class. And playmaking ability is wazoozing. And yeah, I know that was a bad pun, but we're going with it there. And I don't even know if that was a pun. We're going to go take a secondary player with Nick Manwari. Kansas City Chiefs at 31 overall. I am still investing in the offensive line, especially when you look at the board here. Josh Simmons, Kelvin Banks Jr., both great options. I'm going to go ahead, solidify with Josh Simmons a little higher on my board. The injury had him fall for me a little bit, but very, very good football player with an immense amount of talent. On to the Philadelphia Eagles here at number 32 overall. This is maybe the only pick that it will not be what I would do because Howie Roseman, you know what? He's the best GM in the NFL. He's the best GM probably in the world and whatnot, and just the way he's able to manage a team and stuff. So I'm going to take a playbook out of him. I had to call a lifeline. I mean, come on. I had to call one lifeline out here. Regis Philbin is helping me out. Rest in peace. I love Regis. One of the best hosts ever to do it. And now you go get a great player on that offensive line in Kelvin Banks Jr. to be that right tackle of the future. He doesn't have experience there, but he can develop under Jeff Stoutland University. He could play right guard, though, right away as well. I mean, I like him a lot as guard. They may want to just keep him at that right guard spot. I think he'd be the day one starter. I think he'd beat out Steen and also Green. And that rhymes. But then you got Banks over there who can compete for the job and at least, if nothing else, be the long-term right tackle. It's BPA. I think Banks is a first-round player. Just fell a little bit here, and that's the way we're rocking. And then on to round number 2 we go. Browns. I'm actually just gonna a running back, definitely a big need for them, but I'm gonna go grab a weapon with Matthew Golden still on the board. We got Cam Ward in the first round. And if you're looking for like a replacement for Elijah Moore, well, Golden is definitely a nice plus addition for them with Jerry Judy, Cedric Tillman. That's your group of three, getting plenty of weapons for Cam Ward. And then they can still come around in the third round and get a running back, good running back too. Or if they wanted to, we could trade up into the second round and grab a running back, something the way the board shakes up or whatever. On to the Vikings after trading back with the Giants. And with this pick here, I think I'm going to go ahead and solidify the secondary some more here. They still need to improve that or the offensive line. I also think offensive line, like a guard, would make a lot of sense for them. And there's some good offensive linemen still on the board, like Donovan Jackson. I think would be a nice addition, plug and play left guard. So, both really interesting options, but I'm going to go ahead and take a cornerback. I'm going to take a outside cornerback that can be that perimeter guy. You got Murphy, you got Rogers. Murphy can play. He plays a lot in the slot, so I think that they need a true outside boundary corner, and I'm going to go with Azaria Thomas from Florida State. On at 235, we got Travis Hunter. Remember, we didn't go quarterback. Here, though, do we go quarterback? At this point, I mean, my next quarterback off the board that I would take would be Kyle McCord or Will Howard. Those are my next two. Riley Leonard, I like Leonard a lot too. I'm lower on Dart. You will not see Dart in this mock draft. I'm just going to be frank with you. So it is what it is. I do think edge rusher, though, is a big play here that we need to address and something that I definitely see them going after. Ultimately, though, I want to try to invest in the quarterback position because they need to add somebody along with a veteran. I'm going to go with Kyle McCord from Syracuse and give them a quarterback with has been tried and true. He's got that, that edge, I feel like, on his shoulder after being basically kicked out of Ohio State, played amazing at Syracuse, and I think he could take that to the next level. On to the Jacksonville Jaguars. First round, we went Malachi Starks. Second round, I'm going to go at a weapon. I'm going to go get Luther Bird in the third. Why not, right? Add another playmaker into this offense. He's best available to in my eyes at this point, and it's an easy, done, sold, signed, sealed, delivered. On to the Raiders. We got Will Johnson in the first round. Let's go get that runner. We didn't get a runner in the first round, but that's okay. Amarian Hampton, the pick. That also is signed, sealed, delivered, FedEx, 2-day shipping, actually 2-hour shipping. On to the New England Patriots. First round, we got Josh Connolly Jr. I know you're all like, oh my goodness, what are you high or something? But no, Connolly's my number one tackle, and that's an easy selection for me. And then you look at the board here for the New England Patriots. Let's add another weapon. Colston Loveland's still available. Done. I don't care. You can work out Loveland as a big slot. That is an easy pick for me. I'm not even second guessing that one. That is fantastic. I mean, actually, I should have traded up with the Jets. Why did I not do that, actually? I'm a Jets fan. I didn't do it. Now you get the Patriots to get Colston Loveland. Unbelievable. On to the Bears. I'm still pissed off at that. The Bears at 39. First round, we went Jeanty. Now I'm just going BPA. They've their roster's pretty dang good from top to bottom. Let's just improve this team. I'm gonna go add another beast on that offensive line for them. I'm gonna go get Ariante Ursary from Minnesota. I think Jackson would be a great pick too. And it really is gonna depend. But I feel like Ursary could play guard or tackle at the next, just like Donovan Jackson. Like both of these guys, depending on your scheme, which is going to be more of a inside zone heavy gap sort of scheme that I imagine that they're going to run. And I think both of these guys fit that perfectly. So whichever, I mean, in terms of who I'm higher on at this point, it is a tough call. I'm actually higher on Grant, but I think Grant's more of an outside zone type of offensive lineman. And he'd be very similar to what they have in Amigaji as well. So I don't know. I feel like Ursary or Jackson would be a little bit better in that regard. I'm gonna go with Ariante Ursary and also just a little higher on Ursary and sticking to my board there. Number 40 for the New Orleans Saints. First round, remember we traded up to get Mason Graham. Now I'm gonna go and add some help on the offensive line as well here and on that interior. And this is where, look, Donovan Jackson, he's going to go right off the board at this point. So let's go ahead and improve that left guard position in an easy add. I mean, Nick Saliveri can compete. They've got some guys, but I think Jackson would be a nice addition for them on that offensive line. And then we go on to the Bears back on the clock at 41. And I'm going to bolster the defensive line. I'm just going to go best available, either edge rusher or interior defensive lineman. I think either way, they could use either. I'm going to go Tyleek Williams, actually. I think that'd be a good understudy for them at that one tech position. And that will be the ideal move for them. On to the Jets here at 42, and we went with Armand Embu in the first round, and now I'm looking at either tight end, I'm looking at either interior defensive line, those are safety even possibly for the future, certainly in play, but I'm going to, at this point, and who is available, just a lot of the guys I will say just that I would have taken are now off the board. Still think tight end is very, very good, and I'm going to go grab a tried and true tight end, Mason Taylor from LSU. I also like Fanning a lot, though. I'll be honest, Fanning, I might take Fanning over Taylor. I think Taylor is a safer prospect, but I do like Fanning a lot and his receiving ability. Yeah, I'm going to go Fanning. I got to stick to my board here. Fanning's my number 3 tight end. Mason Taylor's number 4 for me. Then Elijah Arroyo's number 5. Terrence Ferguson's number 6 and beyond. Then I have Gottston, I think like it's 7 or 8 or something like that. But I'm going Fanning. Boom. Done. On to 43 here for the 49ers. First round, we traded up. We got a beast, Abdul Carter. I'm not done with the defensive line, baby. Let's continue to invest in the defensive line. My next defensive tackle that I would take up at this point, ooh, there's a lot of good ones, I'm going to go lie. But I'm going to go with a cat with a mean, aggressive tone. Once again, forget about the choir boys on that defensive line. Shamar Turner, he's got some of the freakiest upside in this entire draft class. That defensive line is getting scary. Abdul Carter, Shamar Turner, the amount of athleticism that they have. Oh my God, it's an explosion. It's an explosion. So it is what it is, but I'm getting scared now. On to the Dallas Cowboys at 44. First round, remember, we're going to Mecca Buka. Second round, let's go ahead and try to add a good running back. There's some good ones available. I'm going to go shot out of a cannon, Travion Henderson. To the Colts at 45 now, and the Colts first round, remember, we got Tyler Warren. Let's go get a beast of a linebacker, Swessinger. I could see him going in the first round. He's that talented. Maybe the Rams surprise some people and take a linebacker. Falcons first round, we went edge rusher after a trade down. We went Donovan Ezeraku with their second pick here. Let's bolster some secondary help. I was trying to mix the two safeties, secondary corner. I don't know. I'm going to get Kevin Winston Jr. from Penn State to be a good pairing with Jesse Bates. Bates can be your free. Winston can be your strong. On to the Arizona Cardinals here. First round, we went Kenneth Grant, the monster there from Michigan. Now let's go ahead and improve some more offensive line. In my opinion, let's go get Jonah Savanaia. Could play right tackle, could play right guard for them, depending. Isaiah Adams can play that right guard position, of course. But Evan Brown, long term, you can still add more help onto that offensive line. And Brown can play center long term. Froyo is a free agent after this year. They just need more offensive line in general with Jonah Williams and his injury situation. Maybe Christian Jones can be the future there. But yeah, I want to go ahead and improve the offensive line some more for Kyler Murray in the offense. And then we go on to the Miami Dolphins at 48 overall, first round. We got Ben Bad Morrison, who's super underrated at this point. They could use some safety help, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to go get Xavier Watts, Notre Dame, build that secondary. You got that Notre Dame, a wrecking ball machine, that combination with Morrison and Watts. Woo! Man, that's a really, I like that draft a lot, actually. If they could find that too, that would be really cool, in my opinion. On to the Bengals at 49 overall. We got edge James Pierce Jr. in the first round. Let's go add some offensive line for big bad Joe Burrow as well. We got a couple of big bads out here, but breaking bads. And we're going to go get Tate Ratledge, the right guard. I think he's a plug-and-play right guard for this football team. Boom. And then we go on to number 50, Seattle. Let's go ahead and add some more help on the defense side of the ball. Now, even though I would do what we'll say. They have another pick here. Would the Broncos take a wide receiver? Let's hold off on that. I think the Broncos will be okay. I think they're going to I'll probably go after a running back because they need some help in that running room. So I'm going to go ahead and take some defensive line and, cornerback help, if I meant to say there. Siobhan Revel, going to be a nice little understudy for Tariq Woolen. If they don't re-up him after this year, let's go get some help in that secondary and Siobhan Revel. We go on, as I mentioned, I'm going to go take a running back here. A lot of good running backs. Man, what do I do? Cam Scattaboo, he's sticking out to me. But I'm going to go with Judkins. I like Judkins, and I think you put him in there as that bell cow for Sean Payton in that offense. Got to get more explosive, got to get it better as a runner. And Judkins, I think, fits more heavy with the inside gap scheme that Sean Payton likes. I would like to get Johnson to more of a zone-heavy team. And then we go on to the Seattle Seahawks here at 52, back on the clock. I'm going to go ahead and address the wide receiver position. Go get another guy with some speed. And a guy with some vertical speed, Jaden Higgins from Iowa State, wide receiver, going to be hopefully the DK Metcalf replacement for them. And also competition with Jake Bobo. I love Bobo. But yeah, number 53 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's go and improve the defense some more here. Defense is clearly, they got some areas that they need to improve there. Secondary could use some more depth, use some more help there. Defensive line, absolutely. Let's, we could look at the pass rushers here, but I do think the secondary is the play here. And I'm going to continue to improve this defense. I'm going to add in Trey Amos from Ole Miss, give them some future there. Especially with Jamel Dean's injury history and stuff like that, and contracts coming up. And then on to the Green Bay Packers at 54. First round, we traded up for Aaron McMillan. And now, pass rush. I think pass rush, defensive line in general. Their interior, interior is also a need for them. I think Kenny Clark, this could be his last season, especially if he kind of had the season like this year. Then I think they'll move on and save some money there. So I'm not ruling out defensive interior. I think that is very much in the play for this team. I think it's kind of BPA between the two. There's a guy though I do like. I think Scored's a great football player, and I also you're gonna see a guy get drafted way down the board here, Ashton Jeanty. I'm gonna put him. I'm telling you, somebody's gonna draft that guy. For me personally, I will draft him at some point in this mock draft. But for this pick, I'm gonna go with Scorden. I think Scorden, really solid football player, has the tools. I think his lower weight will help him a lot. Packers, go get some more edge talent. They need more pressure on the quarterback. And then on to the Los Angeles Chargers here. I want to add some help on the offense. We got Shamar Stewart in the first round. They do need defensive interior, and there's some guys that I like here, but I also like a lot of the guys here, like even CJ West in round 3. I want to add a weapon, so let's make sure we do that. I'm going to go get, this is tough. I'm going to stick to my board, though. I'm going to go with Taylor. Arroyo has more upside, and especially as a receiver. But once again, the injury history, just a little bit concerning that knocks him down my board just a little bit. I'm going with Mason Taylor here with that security. I feel like he's going to be a very good football player. On to 56 here for the Buffalo Bills. First round, we got Nick Emanwari. I'm going to continue to bolster the secondary some more. Harrison's on the board. Perfect selection, in my opinion, like scheme fit wise as well. Going to be a great zone corner for them. Carolina Panthers at 57. We went edge rusher. I think they need safety. They need corner still, both areas that we could look at addressing. I think offensively wise, they could still add another receiver as well. And that's kind of the way that I'm leaning with kind of just the corners going off the board with the way that it just happens. So I'm not going to take a corner here. Safety wise, I think we can wait on safety, even though I do like Makuba a lot. Makuba is a guy I'm super high on, but the size is a little something you keep an eye out on. I'm going to go grab another weapon let's get some help on the offense side for CJ Stroud. My next receiver off the board here. Let me just double check everything. I'm going to go, there's a lot of good receivers. I'm going to go with Kyle Williams here for the Carolina Panthers, who I think can play inside at slot, can play on the outside. His release package is one of the best in the draft class. Love that Chris Sims had him at like number 2 at the wide receiver. He's super underrated. I don't know if I can go first round at the moment. He's got some weaknesses to his game, but I think that he is super impressive at the catch point for a guy his size, and his release package is dangerous, man, and his route running is very, very good. Houston at number 58. We got Derek Harmon in the first round. Second round, let's get some more offensive line help, right? Let's invest. Charles Grant, my guy. I know they're not maybe a wide zone scheme, but I don't care. Grant, he's going in this draft. Like I'm a huge fan of Grant. I have him as a back end of the first round, early second round grade. The dude has all the tools. He needs to get a little stronger, but he is one of the best blockers at the second level. He is the best blocker at the second level in this draft class, other than like him and Conley. I would put Grant 1 and then Conley at 2 in that regard. Then we go into the Ravens. Let's go get some interior defense. Like they need more pass rush. I'm going to go get Omar Norman a lot from Tennessee. He's going to be a rotational player early on, but that's okay. Like they can roll out with Jones, Washington, and Matabuki. And then you have a lot in the wing there as a rotational guy early on, can be their long-term starter. And then on to the Detroit Lions. Let's go. This is where it happens. We got Jalen Walker. Let's go get some help on that offensive line. Let's keep those trenches wild. And let's take a look at who is my next player off the board. Who do I like at this point? I will say, I like Fairchild a lot. I'm thinking about Fairchild. I also like Bo. I think Wilson's a good one. Millam, I like Millam way more. Belton's good. There's some really good ones, but I'm gonna go with Millam. I think he's exactly what they're looking for with this run blocking tone. Put him inside a guard, that left guard position. Not a super hard transition in my opinion for him. And I just think Country Roads right on over to Detroit. On to the Commanders at 61. First round, we got an edge rusher, Mikael Williams. Second round, let's go get some help on the offense side. And I know that they got Debo and everything like that. You got Scary Terry, you got Debo, but let's add some more youth, at least more competition with Luke McCaffrey. I want to add more of a bigger outside receiver. Jack Besh, TCU. Dude is a baller. He's a tough-nosed run blocker as well, so he's going to help them out in that regard. I love tough-nosed run blockers, wide receivers, man. I don't know what it is. And Besh is not just a blocker. He can catch, and he's a very good at the catch point. He's one of the most sure hands in this entire draft class. And he's got subtlety as a route runner as well. But he's not going to be the most fluid guy or anything like that, but he's going to be a nice weapon for this team. And then on to the Buffalo Bills here at 62. We went secondary with both of their picks. Next pick, I'm actually I would like to get some like an interior defensive lineman probably at this point, or guard, like a developmental guard behind David Edwards. I am looking for more of a nose type or one tech type. I think we can wait on that. And what I'm gonna do here, actually, I'm gonna trade. I'm gonna do I was talking about earlier, I was foreshadowing with the Browns. Let's come up for a running back here. We're only moving up a couple, like 5 spots. So probably like we'll move for like one 104 in exchange for like, let's do 169. Okay. It might be less than, it might be the 132. Maybe do 94 for 132. That could be an option too as well. Actually, and that's Buffalo's pick. Maybe you get Buffalo's pick back. Actually, let's do that. We'll do this. So we'll swap right there, force that through. And for the Browns, let's go get a running back in here. Let's go get Caleb Johnson. Perfect fit for what the Browns do in Stefanski's outside zone scheme. On to the Chiefs here at 63. Running backs definitely in play for them. I also think defensive interior. And since running back just went off the board, let's go get that guy next to Chris Jones, Darius Alexander, who can be that Tershawn Wharton replacement for them. Final pick of this mock draft. Let's make it a good one. Come on, make it a good one, G Sling. Well, first pick, we got Kelvin Banks Jr. Let's go get some secondary help. Safety is what they need. I'm going to go get Jonas Sanker. I just feel like schematically wise, really good fit for Vic Fangio. I'm a little higher on Makuba, but I think Sanker is definitely in the back end of the second, early third round selection. I don't think this is a reach. He's a very good football player, a fluid mover that can cover in the slot as well. He's got the size profile, really good box guy to go along with Reed Blankenship. So Sanker is going to be the pick to be a starter day one there at the safety position. So let's go ahead and recap everything up here. Here is our draft. Let me know what you think. Agree or disagree. We saw some shockers. And I did not go with Ashton Jeanty. I just remember that. Dang it. Okay, Gelati's the guy. I can't believe I didn't put in this what I would do mock draft. Just let the record be known. I love Ashton Jeanty. I think he's a beast. Anyway, just couldn't find the landing spot, I guess. Here's round 2 recap though for you. Once again, you're not going to see this in the real draft. This is a total out left field. It's like boom, pop fly. That thing's going. It's going. It's a foul ball. It's hit a fan in the face. Oh no. Hopefully not. Jeez Louise. Now we're getting aggressive. We're getting violent out here. But yeah, it just kind of is what it is. And let me know your thoughts. Who are you high on, right? I always got to throw out some players you're high on and stuff like that. And there's a lot of guys here, I think, on that are, still very much some guys I want to spot like Fairchild and et cetera, et cetera. But guys, have a really good day. And I'll talk to you later.